Hey viewers, welcome to the, well, I guess the result match of the weekly challenge number 2, which is the Tanky whatever character. You could send in whatever character you like, except for a tank, or, well, preferably not a support. So we have some options still open, and I really like this one. I mean, I already saw it in ×4 or whatever speed, the maximum speed you can actually watch the playthrough, and it is Annie. So Simon actually sent me this, and I really like the idea of Annie as a, well, more defensive character. You don't have to go all out offensive with any character except, well, no exceptions. You don't have to go all out defensive with any character. But you really have to keep in mind that you shouldn't go all out offensive either. So starting off with the W here, which is the Incinerate, and the Incinerate is basically cone of damage, as you can see. Yeah, I cannot show. Now I can. There it is. So it is a cone of damage, and basically it deals quite a lot of damage, and it is really useful for getting multiple stuns off. So what Annie was doing just there was charging up the stun, because that is Annie's primary goal in this game, to get the stun and to try to stun as many of the enemies as possible. And if you're in a side lane, so like now, you want to go for the W as the first one. You do want to charge it up until Pyromania ×5, or, well, it says energized then. And she only charged it up, or he only charged it up until level 3 before going into lane, and then, well, this happens, and that's kind of unfortunate. Then he has to go to mid lane, and yeah, if you're going to mid lane, you want to go for Disintegrate and not charge up your stun, because your Disintegrate helps you farm so much better. And yeah, we're up to ×4 now. ×5 is the one before the stun, so Annie now has to cast 2 more spells. And finally we see an opponent coming in, already missing 2 minion kills, which doesn't seem to be a big deal to many people. But 2 minion kills can be the difference between actually getting the first kill or being killed, because it means that Annie is going to be level 6 before Vigar is, and that is the moment that one is going to kill the other, basically. And even if it's only 2 minions, that those 2 minions are like maybe 5 seconds. Because if you watch how long it takes to kill 2 minions, if you're just last hitting, which he's doing an excellent job of, by the way. Yeah, that is taking quite a long time. So just the 2 minions is yeah, several seconds, as I said. So going for a Disintegrate level 1, Incinerate the second level. I personally like the Disintegrate a lot more than the Incinerate, although the Incinerate probably does more damage, but I don't really care. The cooldown on the Q is so low that you can actually use it twice, so it actually does double damage in my opinion. So going for the offensive build here by going Q and W and not putting points in the E, which is a shield, and compensating thereby for the fact that she started off with Doran's shield instead of, for example, Doran's ring, which I was sure, I hadn't watched that yet, but I was sure he was going to. Because this is going to be a weak ass character. So now, as you can obviously see, Annie is going to miss some last hits, And actually the Vigar making a big mistake there by killing all the minions by just auto attacking them, because now Annie actually didn't miss any last hits, or maybe just one. But she could have missed the entire minion wave there, because if Vigar had just let the minions attack and just, well, let the green minions kill the red minions, then yeah, she wouldn't have gotten any chance of getting the last hits here. So last hits wise, we see 17 against 15. It's kind of equal. Caitlyn doing a good job, Jarvan doing an excellent job, and on the enemy team, well, we haven't seen Udyr yet, but Akali is doing an appalling job here. She even has a skill to kill whole waves of minions. So we're not going to watch that, we're just going to watch kind of, well, Annie gameplay, I guess, because Annie is excellent at last hitting. Well, Annie is one of my favorite characters. She was the first character I actually bought, I think. I'm not actually sure. I bought Annie, Mundo and Heimerdinger all, well, right in the beginning when I started. All with IP. I've never invested any riot points, so any money in the game, because I still think that they should finish the game before I will invest money in it. And it still isn't finished. There's too many things that can still go wrong, or that are still wrong with the game. And the hero balance is a important thing to me that is going wrong, because if this stays like this, it's going to be really annoying real fast. Actually running into Udyr here, and is she actually? Yeah, she's actually going to get the kill there quite easily, I might add, because, well, she had a stun up, and with the stun there's nobody you can't beat. Basically, there's nothing he could do. And by now we can see that Udyr has 18 minion kills, and he only has cloth armor. So not the best way to be caught out in the river by someone. I don't know what he was doing there, because this leads nowhere. If you go for gank, you're either going here and then you go through the river to the top lane, which would have been an excellent choice, or you go through here and then you go here. But maybe he went from here to mid lane or something, and he was on the way to mid lane and then he saw Annie coming, but then he should have just run. I mean, by running he would have at least stayed be alive still. It's not that hard to see that Annie is a lot stronger. So going for the catalyst here as the first major item. The first item, well, I consider door and shield a defensive item, obviously. But the boots, obviously, really good choice to get them early, especially against someone like Vigar, who is dependent on one string of spells, and if you can just stay out of range, then that's excellent. So by now we see that Annie has 39 minion kills, and that is the highest in the game. Vigar is keeping up pretty well, and Annie is going to try to pick up some kills here from all the weakness that's left from this fight. Yeah, now energized, so the next one is the stun. And there you go, the stun. But not actually enough mana to cast anything else, so she will have to run. But she's going to charge up the stun by whatever means she can. And oh, that's a shame. Udyr backing off. That was really premature from Udyr, and by doing so he avoided getting to, well, he avoided the gank basically, because Jarvan would have definitely killed him. Picking up some extra, well, jungle, I guess. and that is good. And by the way, you can use the you can use the Q to farm here because it doesn't cost you any mana if you get last hit with it. So I'll discuss a little bit about the skills while we go back. And so first of all, as I said, after 5 spell casts you get a stun. Your next one will have a stun. This is really the whole thing you have to understand when you play Annie. Your stun is everything. So actually he should have used Incinerate once when he was on the summoner platform just to get the stun. And then the next thing you do is you kill someone with it. Because the stun is long enough, it's 1.75 seconds at this level. I think it becomes longer when you level up. And actually now at Pyromania ×1. So actually, you cannot use every one of the stuns, obviously. But you have to charge it up as soon as you can by just using whatever means you can to get it up. The Q is your basic free spell. It is a single target nuke, and if you kill your target, like there, you get a full refund. And there we see the actual stun going off. And are we going to see a kill? No, unfortunately not. Sending the bear in. We will get to the bear in a minute. You can control the bear by using the Alt key, and I'm sure for the Mac users there is a key as well. I'm not actually sure if... I know control is command on the Mac, but that's about all I know. I think they also have an Alt key. So actually getting the avoiding the stun and getting the kill there pretty easily. That's really a bonus from Veigar. The extra health coming in very handy here because, well, what more can you want against Veigar? You don't have any AP yet. His ultimate is basically useless, and your ultimate is doing a lot of damage. So the W then, I already said, it's a cone of damage, and you can stun multiple targets with it if you have your stun up with the Pyromania ×5. Then the E is Molten Shield, and it raises your armor magic resist. And if someone attacks you, it's basically the same as what's it called? Oh, I forgot. This is really annoying to me. Now I have to know. Defense armor. It's this one. It's Thornmail. So it's basically the same as Thornmail for all basic attacks. Yeah, and it works quite well. It's a lot of additional damage, but also a lot of additional armor and magic resist. So against some of the AD carries, it can actually save you. Well, just like Thornmail can, I guess. But here it's just inherent of your character, and you should really learn to use it if you're in a lane with someone like Yi or Tryndamere, because it really works well early game as a way to stop their damage and to avoid from getting killed. So then the all-important Tibbers. Tibbers, very famous. Getting an excellent flash off there, and is he going to get the kill? Tibbers, go. Go, 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 go. No, Tibbers is not going to catch up. That's a shame. Tibbers is going to do one hit on the turret. And actually keeping Tibbers alive, which is really important. Because he can do so much more. Like scouting the bush. That is excellent work. Really creative. Should have probably ran him in there. But yeah, Tibbers cannot be too far away from you, because then he just teleports back to where you are. And where are we going? We're going for blue buff. So Tibbers is really strong. He has a 0.2 AP ratio, which isn't a lot at the moment. 36 AP. So that's like 7 additional damage per second. And his summon actually has a 0.7 AP ratio, so that's quite a lot. The Q has a 0.75 ratio, the W is 0.8 ratio, and this one has a 0.2 ratio. So actually the more AP you have, the better your damage is going to be that you return to your attacker if you have the shield on. Once again, it only goes for basic attacks. So Tibbers just does a lot of damage. It is an area of effect, and you can stun with him, obviously. Oh, is this Lux actually going to escape? Yeah, she is not going to escape, but she is going to get a kill. That is just so silly. I mean, why would you do that? Why would you not just let him escape? No, well, whatever. Anyway, the Tibbers is your most important skill, and it is the most excellent way to engage a fight, or to initiate a fight, I should say. You have to be careful though, because the AoE, as we see here, that was quite a coincidence there. Oh, nice. Tibbers actually picking up a kill here. But the AoE will actually trigger tower aggro, so you really have to be careful with that if you're not building anything defensive. So second item has been added by now, because well, there's a lot going on and I'm trying to comment on that for once instead of discussing all the different builds you can go. So Catalyst was the first item, Glacial Shroud second item, also defensive, but with the reduced cooldown, reduced cooldowns, or cooldown reduction, as I should have said. And the cooldown reduction is actually a major theme on Annie, because well, if you get more Tibbers and if you get more stuns, you're basically a lot stronger. There's a lot of people coming in here. Oh, only one. There were a lot of people coming in there. So getting a stun there. Actually not leveling up the shield yet. The shield is really useful for just getting that one more spell you need to get the stun. So that's why a lot of people just level up the shield one time, because then they get an additional spell, and you can basically cycle through all of your spells twice and get 2 stuns. So you do Q, W, E. No. You do Q first to get the stun, or you do R, but then R, Q, W, E, and then again the Q, and then the Q is another stun, I think, or the next one is another stun. Anyway, doesn't matter. Something like that. You can use the Q twice in the cycle, and you get, hang on, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 spells then, which should actually be, yeah, the spell before the stun. So that's unfortunate, but still, the next one is then going to be a stun, and that is going to be your Q once again, and then your Incinerate is already up, or also up, I should say. So you get 2 spells once again, and you can deal a lot of damage, all in all. So even though she is spike damage, she can do a lot of spike damage, and she can damage a lot of different targets. Something I think that LeBlanc lacks. She kind of has the problem that she's more of a single target nuker because of the Q ability, where you add whatever the mark is called to your opponent. Yeah, Annie not going for the kill there. Yeah, I think she should have helped the Caitlyn, but well, a kill is a kill. And yeah, Vigar is still here. Vygar using the Q on Annie, but that really doesn't do a whole lot because of all the extra health. So as you can see, it's a really good farming tool, the W. Plus it charges up your stun, and as I said several times now, it is the only thing you have to keep in mind. You have to get up the stun. So using the shield now to get just the one more spell out, and up to stun now. So energized, as it says, and now all she has to do is just wait for her cooldowns. And there goes Vygar. Is she going to go after him? So we see here the wolf, and we see there the Vygar melting. Yeah, it's a shame, but it's good, because now he's at half health and he can choose to either go back or to stay in with only half life. So Annie obviously needs this this blue, because blue on Annie makes her even better. And actually Sona stealing it there, but that was, I think, a mistake. So she didn't actually want to steal it. It was just because she used her offensive spell on well, the champions that were near her. She was trying to attack them and only got one of them and hit the golem with the others. So now that she doesn't have the blue buff, she cannot actually stay in because Annie needs her mana. And now we're going for some offensive action, probably going into the Rod of Ages. Really nice defense against AD well, champions, but not great against the magic. But then again, the only magic is Vygar, I think. Yeah, pretty well, Akali, I guess, but she's 1 and 4, so wouldn't worry too much about that. 48 minion kills when you're up to 102. Yeah, not too big a deal. So fortunately there is a second blue buff on the map, and Annie is going to get that. So already up to 4 stacks once again. You really have to learn that if you want to be a good Annie. And everybody wants to be a good Annie. Annie is really worth the investment of IP. I think she's like 3100 or something like that. She's not 63, I think. But she is a really good champion. And she's relatively easy as long as you build her like this. A little bit tanky. If you just go all out offensive, like Void Staff and what's the other one? Archangel Staff and Deathcap. Oh, it's already surrender. But if you go all out offensive, there's no way you're staying alive. So, it's a nice build. There was a lot more I wanted to discuss, but as you can see, building kind of the tanky items gives you so much more in the early game. You don't have to be afraid of anything in the early game because you're not going to get killed, and that makes that you can actually move freely through the map, or in this case only the river and going to top lane. You can even help in ganks, and you're still going to do a decent amount of damage. And then you can build into Rod of Ages, and you can build into, well, whatever basically. You can just choose your items, but you have to have a different mindset. You have to understand that instead of going all damage, you're going to do about 80% of your normal damage, but you're going to have 3 times the hit points you normally would. Or, no, I should say that differently. You can take 3 times the damage you normally could. So instead of being nuked down by the Vygar ultimate in one shot, you can go for the Rod of Ages, which still gives you a lot of AP, but also gives you the survivability and the mana that you so desperately need in the early game. And all in all, there's a load of really good defensive items or semi-defensive items, and I will be doing this again, so please just watch the item lists. I mean, watch the high ELO games and watch what people actually buy, what kind of items, and don't just pick the build they go, because that's wrong. They are pro gamers, and if you build whatever the pro gamer is building, you need to play like the pro gamer is playing, and you're not, because if you were, you wouldn't be listening to me now. So all in all, building a little bit more tanky will result in a lot better balance between your HP, your mana, and your damage, and it will just make you a better player. And if you at one point get to the high ELO where you can play Ashe with full-on offensive items and just some lifesteal to stay alive, then of course different rules apply, but that's because in the high ELO they're supposed to know when that they need to defend the Ashe, so you need to protect Ashe from any damage. So you have a support character like Sona or Soraka or Janna, and they are going to protect the carry, not the tanks. So the tanks run in, they try to distract the enemy team, they try to taunt them or well, throw them in the air or whatever that specific tank does, and in the meantime Ashe is the one doing the damage. And that's the whole point of the high ELO team composition. But for low ELO, you don't have the team composition. You don't have a team that actually understands when to protect you. So don't expect them to. I mean, every now and then you get this amazing team where everybody understands what their duty is on the team, and you're going to win with 20-0. And you're going to win in like 20 minutes. But that happens, well, just once every God knows how many games. But all of the other games just build a little bit more tanky and stay alive instead of getting the one more kill you can. It's so much more important not to give your opponents too much gold. And of course to stay alive, to get the experience, and yeah, those kind of things. So all in all, I hope you enjoyed. It was a very short match, unfortunately. I would have liked to see the continuation of this build. But thanks for sending it in. And I hope I will get a little more reactions for the third week, because now I cannot actually make a compilation video, and I would like that. Next week is going to be a compilation video, so I'm going to take out all the good actions with some context, and I'm going to try to explain why people make certain decisions and why they shouldn't make certain decisions. Maybe, I mean, I don't know, maybe you have a jungle game where you wonder, should I have done that, or should I have ganked earlier, or not ganked at all, or ganked a different lane. Those kind of questions, that's fine. I mean, we will review them next week. And for now, I wish you a pleasant day, I guess. And I'll see you next time. GG.